Welcome back to the Smokehouse, Bay City, Michigan. Crossfaded Sports, straight from the 989.network on this fantastic Monday night with Monday Night Football and the Manning Cast playing behind me. How is everybody feeling and everybody doing? Me, Bani with the fanny, Bucket Hat Zach, after a glorious fantasy football weekend. Well, glorious for some people, terrible for
Yeah,
others.
I don't know about that. I don't know if it was a good betting weekend or a fantasy football weekend. This was a wild week too.
There's a lot of injuries. I myself am sitting here looking at possibly going 2-4 in my six fantasy football leagues. The unnamed league that we did for our podcast and just created it. I'm definitely going to start 0-2. And then right now Saquon Barkley's playing and I'm only ahead by 10 points. I have Drake London though. I have Drake London. I'm up by 10, but he's got Saquon who put up like 30 points last week. So, and I have Saquon in another league, but I'm already winning by 25 points, and she's got Dallas Goddard left. So right now I'm sitting at one of those points where if Saquon gets 0 points, I'll be okay with it. So I'm just kind of hoping Saquon has a meager like 12 to 15 point night, and Drake London can get me 10 points, and I can somehow sneak out a win. And I'm doing okay right now. Right, we just had halftime happen. We'll see what happens after that.
So if we're counting that unnamed league there that we did our draft from our mock draft from earlier in the season that you and Connor talked major shit about, uh I am going 3-5 in my fantasy league. So I guess it's not too bad, but it was a little bit of a close one there, and somehow I got a bit lucky in a couple of the leagues, but there is a few leagues I'm watching a few players like, ooh, one more and ooh, he could beat me.
Dude, in the our dynasty league, I'm just barely gonna lose, and I spent $1 fab to pick up the linebacker Johnson from the Jets after he scored 40 points, and then he tore his Achilles, and I spent $1 to get 6 points and have him be out for the rest of the season.
And to be fair, on record, I have said I don't like our dynasty league that we just drafted this year. But you give me a few years, I'll build a good squad up here. I got a lot of trade capital here, so yeah,
I want to bring up
I'm definitely losing in that league.
I definitely want to minimize, not completely minimize the defensive numbers, but the way how many points the defensive players can score when they have a good day is just crazy. I cannot fathom. Hutch had more points at the end of the first half than most of the teams in the Dynasty League had with multiple offensive
Three
players.
sacks in the first quarter.
That was
That's
nuts.
insane. I don't understand the scoring for defense either. It's like most of my defensive players are outscoring my starting offensive players. And I have TJ Watt though on my defense. That's a little unfair,
Well, and
but
I got
I
Khalil
don't get
Mack,
that.
and I thought for sure he was gonna put up numbers against the Chargers. I think he only got 10 points or maybe 6 points. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, and it all depends the game.
You never know what's gonna happen. Never, especially with defense. A block punt, and
Dude,
I wonder how much a block punt is.
an interception.
And I can't remember how much. I know a sack. I think is 6 points.
That's insane. God,
I
four and a
think
half
I
sacks
think
out
a
of Aiden
pressure
Hutchinson.
is 3 or 4. I can't remember what an interception is. It's pretty crazy. When I did IDPs before, I think we did sacks or 3 points, interceptions were 3 points or 2 points, and a tackle was 1 point, and a half tackle was a half a point. Pass
So,
deflections was a point, something like that. So then that would be more comparable to an offense player. But I kind of understand where Destin's coming from because, oh, bless you. I
man,
couldn't
I
even
felt
hear
that
it, but I
coming
could
for
see
like
it.
5 minutes. I've been just sitting here like, where is it?
But I don't know. It's just crazy how like a linebacker can score 60 points.
Yeah, like I only had one player outscore TJ Watt on my team this week, and it was Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh man, he didn't even have any touchdowns either.
No,
That's crazy. How disappointed were you to hear that AJ Brown was going to be out though on Sunday night? Actually, they said that early in Sunday afternoon, or they might have said that before the Lions game even.
they said it very early, but I am actually kind of pissed because I ended up actually really needing him this week. Like I had to start Jameson over him, and that worked out for me. But Tank Dell fucked me. 2.3 points out of Tank Dell. So
Dude, it
I was,
sucks too because he was like the number one target last year, and now you have no idea what's going to happen
yeah.
in that.
And thanks to their kicker, who I was going up against, scoring 20 points last night in fantasy
Bro,
for
he's
the
gone. I have him in one or two leagues. He is a G, bro. He's a dog.
Fairbairn out of, I believe his name is out of Houston. Yeah, he
Yep.
he completely kicked my ass last night in the
I think he
in
scored
fantasy.
21 points in week one and 20 points in week two. I was like, fuck yeah, from the kicker. Let's go,
You know
baby.
what? You know what? I just realized it's collusion. I lost in both of Destin's leagues. Collusion.
It's all a collusion. King collusion strikes again.
I don't even blame him. But yeah, no, so with AJ Brown now, that's a huge loss for me, especially after putting up big numbers in week one with a touchdown and over 100 yards.
Dude,
Can't be as mad
and
as you though.
Tua Tagovailoa, man, I don't know what's going to
Ooh,
happen. He said that he's not going to retire. At least that's what the public report is. That's been reported by Ian Rappaport. However, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a long talk and he considers retirement. And I took Tyreek Hill with my first overall pick in the Dynasty League draft. And now at least Marvin Harrison Jr. showed up for me this week. So I'm glad I drafted him first overall in the rookie draft. But now I'm wondering if Tyreek Hill is going to be worth it. Should I maybe try and dish him? You know what I mean? And that just is it has so much impact on that whole team. Devon Achan, Jalen Waddle, all these guys that we're expecting to be huge fantasy producers. I have no idea what to expect from that offense now.
see, I I had a crazy, crazy kind of thought here with the news coming out this morning of Bryce Young being benched. Maybe the Dolphins trade for him. You could probably trade like a fourth or fifth round pick for Bryce Young
N-
right now.
no, there's no way they let
Yeah,
him go for a fourth or fifth round pick. No fucking way. Not in the beginning of
Carol,
year two.
but it's the GM of Carolina's new, the head coach is new, the whole regime's new. They didn't draft him.
Yeah, yeah.
And with Bryce Young, my thoughts, and if he were just to go to like he's kind of a smaller version of Tua. Mike McDaniel could work with that, so you never know. That's just a thought that I had. Maybe I wanted to get, maybe quick prediction.
Oh
But
fuck! I didn't realize that I was an idiot because I'm playing Saquon and Bijan. So there ain't no way unless Drake London goes the fuck off. I'm already down by 17 points. I just realized as I'm looking it up as you're talking.
and yeah, they're both about to score touchdowns tonight.
Yeah, yeah. I'm fucked. I'm so fucked. And this is the league I have Isaiah Pacheco as my number one running back, and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Now I'm going to be rolling with Gus Edwards and Kenneth Walker, and Kenneth Walker was out this week too. And the Gus
Oh,
Edwards is sitting second fiddle to J.K. Dobbins.
which is a huge pickup for me in our keeper league. And I'm gonna say it, and I know it's way too soon, but we've gotten up past all the Tua stuff now. It's been since last Thursday. Ooh, I I kept him at the perfect time for fantasy. Last year, his healthy year, couldn't ask for a better time. Moving on this year.
Ugh. And
Uh,
then obviously,
Way too soon. Way
yeah,
too soon.
you did. You did good. You did good. The one here that he spent completely healthy. And then obviously CMC. So Mason being the pickup of the fucking week, and we had no idea they were going to throw CMC onto IR, and they're talking 6 weeks at minimum probably for his Achilles tendonitis, and he's got tendonitis in his Achilles, so the only way to heal that is to straight not work on it, so he can't keep himself in shape. He's got to essentially stay off of it, which is counterproductive to him getting back on the field because he's got to stay in game shape. So I can't imagine how hard that's got to be for him. And I just
Dude,
mentioned the Isaiah Pacheco fibula. They think he might have a fractured fibula, so there might be tearing around his leg where the fibula is, and he's expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks. He could miss 10 weeks. Fucking A, bro. That sucks.
well, real quick,
He had 16
speaking
points still before he got hurt.
speaking of fantasy though, so in my other dynasty league with our buddy Taryn, I have CMC. And dude, I had to overbid on Fab just to get Jordan Mason. I am very pissed off, dude. I have CMC and Jameer Gibbs. Like, come on, that's a killer running back duo right there.
I know, dude. I bid in our dynasty league. I bid on Mattinson and I put $10 down because I was like, I need to at least get him. I was gonna bid on Mason, but I was like, well, if CMC is as healthy as they say he is, then I don't want to spend 35, 40 on him. Now I wish I would have. Like, he's
Yep.
gonna end up being the guy for the next few weeks. I do have him in two other leagues, but the leagues that I really needed him in, I wish I could have got him in.
Oh,
Well, and
it's
then
what a crazy week.
we got Rashad White who got hurt, but it's just a slight groin thing, and he should be good. Tajay Spears tweaked his ankle; he should be good. Joe Mixon is going went on had an MRI today on his ankle, so we'll see if that's serious or not. It could if it's a high ankle sprain, we might see Joe Mixon miss a considerable amount of time. Ross St. Brown just suffered a contusion. If you don't know what a contusion is, it's a bruise, but depending on where the bruises, that shit can be annoying. And then he was cramping. I remember my family was like, it kind of looks like he's cramping up as he hobbled off to the sideline. So he did get a bruise and a cramp. So hopefully that's nothing serious. We know he can play through a torn, what was it? God damn it, labrum, torn labrum, right? From the
Yep.
receivers documentary. So, I mean, I think a contusion and some cramps, Amon-Ra St. Brown should be good. Justin Jefferson, after having an amazing game, had a quad injury, but he said he's okay, just a bruised quad. Cooper Kupp though is in a walking boot. He's probably going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. I feel
Oh,
so bad for Stafford after all the success they had last year, and then immediately losing both of his number one wide receivers.
well, real quick on them. With this, like at least three more games without Puka, and definitely probably 6 to 8 without Cooper Cup.
Yep.
Uh, are the Rams a playoff team anymore? That defense is not gonna help them.
No, definitely not. And
They're, you know,
if they're not
too
worried
young.
about the passing game, and not that Stafford can't still sling it to those other guys, but if the other team just thinks that they can just run the ball down your throat the whole game because you're going to end up having to pass against them anyways with your backup upon backup wide receivers, then they're just going to stack the box and force Stafford to sling it. And that offensive line hasn't been the greatest. We'll
No.
see. And then the Cardinals, after the way Kyler Murray played this past week, that I said they could be sneaky. They could sneak in here, and the Seahawks is the number one team in the division right now at 2-0, and the 49ers lost to the Vikings. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, it could
Has
wouldn't it be
me a
crazy if
little
the
worried.
Seahawks end up winning that division. No one would have picked the Seahawks to win that division at the beginning of the season. That would be crazy.
Oh, dude, I wonder what the parlay would or the money line would have been for that.
That would have been nuts. George Kittle was carted off, but he was just cramping and had to get an IV according to what Adam Schefter reported. So that's not a big deal. But Debo is going to be out for at
That's
least a
the big
couple of
one.
weeks for a calf strain. So now there are no CMC and no Debo, and so we'll see what happens. That
I'm
doesn't
glad
ever
Brandon
seem to be
Ayuk
a
fell to me.
problem. Yeah. fucking the big key thing for that offense, whenever Brock Purdy's really done bad, it's not because Debo's not there, it's because Trent Williams wasn't there. So Trent Williams is there. I'm not going to be too worried. And that's just going to give more. Oh man, Juwan Jennings is going to be a huge pickup this week. He's going to be a huge pickup in
That's
the
a
wide
good
receiver
point.
market.
With AJ Brown possibly out another week, you never know.
Well, and that just leads us right into my start of the week, which is definitely Jordan Mason for the 49ers, who's taking over for CMC. 247 rushing yards in the first 2 weeks, 22.2 points and 17.4 points in the first 2 weeks. Absolute straight dog.
No.
And they're
Oh
playing the
man.
Rams in week 3. And
And
like you just said, no Cooper Cup, no Puka Nakua. They're just gonna run the football down their throats all day. No Aaron Donald. They're just gonna sit there and control the clock and try and keep Stafford off the field as much as they can and force him to play from behind. I feel like it's gonna be an easy dub and a good day for Jordan Mason.
oh yeah. It's it, that O line versus the Rams D line right now with all the young staff on there. That's gonna be a killer game. Which, man, it was a hard pick in a start of the week with the matchups in week 3. So I'm gonna have to stick with the same game. I'm going with the 49ers defense.
Oh
All they
yeah,
gotta
that's
do is stop.
Rush the passer,
They
Kyron
just gotta
Williams.
stop the run.
Yep,
Tyron Williams, shut them down, you're done. And who do they got on the edge? Joey Bosa.
yep.
Or no,
Nick Bosa, Nick Bosa.
Nick.
Yep,
Yep,
yep.
yep. So yeah, that's my start of the week. How could you not? I only say that though because I have him on a fantasy league.
I'm not sure if I got any of the 49ers defense. I have so many teams I can't remember. But I got two benches of the week. First one's easy. Sit all Packers wide receivers. Malik Willis is going to run the football. Did you see what the Packers did? All they did was
Well,
run the fucking football. And then if they were in third and long, Malik Willis just looked out and pretended like he was going to throw and then ran for the first down. And they handed the ball back to Josh Jacobs again. They were just going to run the fucking football. There was one passing touchdown to Dontavian Wicks. It was his first passing touchdown in his entire NFL career. And he's not like he doesn't have some attempts. He's got like over 100 attempts
I got
at
one
least.
protest to that, and that's Jaden Reed. You're gonna see a lot of end arounds with him and him taking or him in motion. He's a quick
He still
guy.
only had like 6.3 points. I have him on two teams. I
But
benched him.
in a deep league with all the injuries that you just went over, you could need him at your flex spot, and that's a solid 6 points. Amari Cooper is number one wide receiver and hasn't put up more than 4 points in a week yet.
I know offenses have been struggling. And speaking of offenses struggling, Christian Kirk, who just happened to be the guy that fell to me in the draft that I felt like was a very good value because I did a lot of picking between 8 and 10 this year for whatever reason. That's just where the marbles laid. And so taking Christian Kirk where I took him, he's the clear number one with the Jaguars now, besides Evan Ingram and just got a good quarterback. They were a great team last year for at least the first 12 weeks. And he's gotten fucking 3 points in 2 weeks. He's fucking garbage. And he's on my bench now until he can prove to me that he can catch the fucking ball because it's driving me nuts. I can't understand how terrible he can't even get more than a fucking point and a half in a game in 2 games. Number one,
Honestly,
number
that
one.
whole Jaguar offense is, it's kind of
Tank or Travis Etienne supposed to be the number one running back, and now people are adding Tank Bigsby. What the fuck is this? Jaguars, what the fuck are you doing to us fantasy owners?
I'm honest, I'm kind of starting to, avoid them like the Panthers. It's, I dropped Trevor Lawrence in a league already.
Last year, if Christian Kirk was healthy, he had at least 13 points. This year, he's been healthy for the first 2 games, and he can't even get a fucking target.
And like you think with Gabe Davis there that it'd be a more Christian Kurt heavy offense because Gabe Davis is just going to be wide open down the end and scoring 0 points.
Well, and he's just kind of a burner, right? He likes to do those deep routes, so it should open up stuff because Christian Kirk is kind of more of the route runner, middle of the field guy. So I'm so surprised that he hasn't done anything yet. And honestly, I need to do more research because I just assumed he was the number one, and maybe he's not. I'm not sure what's going on over there.
Brian Thomas Jr. I'd like to introduce to you there. That is going to be the number one wide receiver very quick.
Is
And
that the rookie?
yes,
Yeah.
that would probably like honestly, I did just say I am avoiding the Jaguars, but if I could trade for Bryant Thomas at a pretty decent price right now, I probably would. But in most leagues, I don't need a wide receiver, so I'm not going to right now. But he's going to be a solid number one wide receiver. He in week one, you seen the one play where he burned Jalen Ramsey for the touchdown. It was
I did
insane.
not see that.
All right. Well, who you sitting this week? Oh yeah, you just completely stoner mind.
Yep, I know who I'm sitting.
You already said you're one all Packers receivers, and I kind
Oh
of want
yeah,
to.
I forgot to mention. Did you see the puke ball video?
I did. That's hilarious.
Dude,
How
that's
do
so
they
funny.
th- imagine that the player comes over and just the center threw up on the ball?
The um uh God, I can't Matt LaFleur, the coach, he said in the press conference after the game, the ref came up to him and was like, "Hey, next time if that happens, do you want us to like blow the play dead so we can sub your player out?" And he's like, "Yeah, actually, because Malik didn't know how to throw the football because it had puke all over it." And he said that in his press conference. I fucking laughed so hard, bro. I couldn't I've seen players puke on the field like that, but I've never seen the center puke all over the ball and then have to snap it.
No.
Like,
Oh,
oh my God.
it, oh. Well,
It's
honestly,
so funny.
Malik Willis is a straight dog.
Dog.
That was a little delayed, but for not fumbling that ball. Like he held on to that ball knowing that the center threw up onto it.
Yep. I know, and I think he still gained some yards, right? He
He
gained like
gained the
four or
first
five
down.
yards.
No,
Did he get the first down?
he was just short. It was
Just yeah,
third
I was gonna
down and he
say.
was short. They had to punt it.
Oh,
Wow,
I'm
that
still staying away from all those receivers though, for real. Jaden Reed's the only one because of the rushing yards, but Dontavian Wicks got lucky with a touchdown, but I'm not sure what else he had that game. Let me see. I can look it up real quick.
all right, I got my sit of the week. And I hate to say it because he's on my team, but he's also on your team. The Chargers running back room against the Steelers this week. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. This is going to be a
Oh
tough matchup
shit.
for the Jim Harbaugh led Chargers. I know they love that running game, and I like it too. I'm still,
This is going to be a
after,
test of the 2 and O's. Only one's going to be left undefeated, and I would probably lean towards the Chargers. Or, I'm sorry, towards the Steelers beating the Chargers.
me too, just because of that defense. It's going
Dude,
to
they
be,
have been nasty.
that honestly, that's gonna be a really good game. And I don't like, even though there's, not much from either of these teams, it's a little bit of a shocker. They're 2-0.
Yeah.
But but that is gonna be a smash mouth football game.
Dude, and if they do go in there and impose their will on the defense and just run the football 3 yards in a cloud of dust. If you get 3 yards on every running play and you run it 4 times in a row, that's 12 yards. So it would be crazy to see them just run the football down the Steelers' throat. I would love to see Mike Tomlin's head just explode.
Oh my, that it's gonna be an insane game. But unfortunately, yeah, I'm gonna have to sit J.K. Dobbins, and if you have him, Gus Edwards. It's gonna be a game of field goals. Calling it right now.
All right. Well, those are the starts and sits. This has been Crossfaded Sports. Bucket Hat Zach, Fanny with the Fanny. Everybody love everybody.
Yeah.